How many coins would fit into this room?
4,000, no, 10,000, 11, 10 million.
Not all questions have an exact answer. They're testing your thinking process. So think logically and out loud.
So I'd have to measure how many coins would fit lengthwise, widthwise, and heightwise, and then I'd multiply those three numbers.
What's the color of money?
Green.
Don't rush to answer. Sometimes the follow-up questions are more important than the answers.
Well, it depends what currency you're talking about, and actually it depends on what medium of payment you're thinking of. Is it cash, card, cryptocurrency?
Imagine you've been given an elephant. You can't give away or sell it. What are you going to do with it?
I don't know.
Some questions are designed to test your character, so don't say anything illegal or unethical. Instead, have fun with it.
I'd call it Max and maybe ride it to work.
I bet you didn't know that, part 15. Saudi Arabia imports camels from Australia. The longest English word is over 189,000 letters long. British people drink 165 million cups of tea daily. Grizzly bears can crush bowling balls with their bite. Cotton candy was invented by a dentist.
Why do judges and lawyers in the UK wear wig sets in court? This kind of hair cover is called judicial wig. It mainly plays the role of legal authority. And their wigs are never washed, and the darker the color of the wig indicates the more seniority and experience of this lawyer. In addition, they believe that wearing wigs and black robes during arguments can hide the original face, get rid of their thoughts, and become the representative of justice and fairness. Follow me next issue to bring you more interesting science knowledge.
AI creates photorealistic images and art by itself. OpenAI's DALL-E 2 is an AI system that generates realistic images and art from descriptions in natural language. Examples are teddy bears mixing sparkling chemicals as mad scientists as a 1990s Saturday morning cartoon, or as digital art, or in a steampunk style. It is also capable of making edits based off of the descriptions you give it, like remove elements, adding elements, and more. The OpenAI engineers were able to make DALL-E by training a neural network to understand individual images, but also the relationships those have with other images, like a dog and a beret. I wonder what this technology will be like in the future.
Rule of 72. Albert Einstein once said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, but he who doesn't pays it. When you invest or save money, the goal is usually to receive a return on that money. But how does that return impact your finances when compounded? That's where the rule of 72 comes in. This rule states that if you take the percentage return you're receiving and divide it into 72, it tells you how long it takes for your money to double. For example, if you put 100K into a savings account at 1% interest, divide 72 by 1 and it will take 72 years for your 100K to double to 200K. Whereas if you put 100K into an investment that returns 8%, divide 72 by 8 and it will only take you 9 years to double that money to 200K. And then another 9 years for that 200K to double to 400K. Etc. That's the rule of 72. Follow along to learn more about finance.
The human brain is not designed for success. The human brain is designed for survival.
Right.
Survival is about conserving energy. Success is the opposite. Success is about expending energy, doing things that are uncomfortable. So it doesn't mean if you do this, if you struggle with procrastination, if you've made bad choices, it doesn't mean you're doomed for failure. It actually means you have a perfectly functioning, healthy, normal human brain. But success is not normal. Success is not average. Success is not what most people experience. If you are trying to experience success, you need to rewire, literally, the neural pathways in your brain.
Take a closer look. Drop the liquid on the lock. You can break it with your bare hands. Put it on the racket. The rackets will simply burst. Drop it on the can. The can becomes as crunchy as a cookie. If it is accidentally dropped on a computer or mobile phone, the voice of heartache hurts to hear across the screen. So what exactly is this horrible liquid? And how it can corrode other metals? The liquid turned out to be a metal called gallium. Since its melting point is only 29.76 degrees Celsius, it usually appears as a solid at room temperature, but can be turned into a liquid with just a little heat. If you put it in the palm of your hand, he will slowly melt into a liquid like a magic trick. If a ladle made of gallium is stirred in hot water, you can also see the magic phenomenon of the spoon melting while stirring. In winter it will exist in a solid state. In the summer it usually exists in a liquid state. Then why doesn't gallium corrode the palm? But it can corrode other metals. Because he made an alloy with the metal, destroyed the original structure of the metal. A metal bond between metal atoms that is inherently stable. Interloose gallium alloy bonds with the metal to make the hard metal and become as brittle as a biscuit. It breaks at the touch. So here comes the problem. What would you most like to do with gallium?
I'm going to give you the most powerful sales technique I've ever found in the whole history of my sales career that has literally been responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm also going to give you some examples towards the end of the video. And the technique is this. It's using analogies during your sales calls. And here's why it's so powerful. The human brain thinks in pictures. If I say pink elephant, you do not think about the words. What you see is an image of a pink elephant. So if the brain understands everything we're saying in images, it makes sense to put what you're trying to sell and the things you're trying to explain and get context over into images. So it works a bit like this. Let's say during a sales conversation, somebody is really pushing you on price. They don't want to go through your process. They're just like, how much does it cost? Tell me what the cost is. You're saying, well, look, Dave, I'd love to tell you the cost, but we've got a range of services. And at the moment, I don't know what problems you may or may not have to know if even what we do would fix it. Dave's playing hardball. He's going, look, I don't care about any of that. Just give me the cost. What works really well here is to use an analogy, which would sound something like this. Dave, look, if you went to a garage or a mechanic and said, how much to fix my car, what would he tell you? Dave's probably going to say, well, I don't know. Exactly. That's the point. The mechanic needs to do some research. He needs to have a look under the bonnet. He needs to figure out what's going on before he can give you a price. Same thing here. The reason this works so well is because it takes your scenario and it puts it in another scenario that makes sense in the prospect's mind. If you want to make more money in sales, start taking those scenarios and transferring them into analogies and pictures that your prospect will understand. Follow for more sales advice.
Uncommon human traits. Being able to move one eyebrow, 25% of people. Growing a full beard, 1 in 5 men. Having dimples, 1 in 5 people. Going bald, 1 in 8 men. Having an outy belly button, 1 in 10 people. Being left-handed, 1 in 10 people. Having curly hair, 1 in 10 people. Having blue eyes, 1 in 10 people. Having green eyes, 1 in 50 people.